My people no be smart, APC don't run go grant another interview. They let us understand say wetin Peter Obi dey talk up and down say win this election. He say Peter Obi become third. Say person wey supposed to dey cry go national TV should be Atiku, no be Peter Obi. Now the APC people don challenge Peter Obi. Say Peter Obi, you dey talk say poverty dey for other states. Why you no dey talk of Anambra? Whether Anambra, you make Anambra good, wey be so other governor no come make their state better. My people no be smart, APC don dey carry this matter dey go another level. So say that they let us dey understand say make Peter Obi go sit down for him state. The one wey be say Peter Obi dey talk about other states for Nigeria. Whether the poverty of the thing na only the other state na dey no dey for Anambra. Abi which state wetin Peter Obi wan brag about Anambra. My people no be smart, APC people, e be like say since wey court don announce say Monday they go resume the case wey be say they carry PDP and Labour Party come their table about this election 2023 election. APC don dey run up and down, dey grant another interview, don dey drag each other up and down. No be smart, My people, I go like make una go hear from the APC people, the one wey dey talk again, wey be say they try to remind Peter Obi, whether na Peter Obi they remind, abi they try to tell the court wetin they go do. Say see. My people no be smart, Make una go hear from APC.
I don't want to use the words that were on TV, but people take this to the extreme sometimes. But I think that we've had this. Peter Obi did not win the election. The majority of people in this country voted either for the PDP or for the APC that won the election. Peter Obi came a distant third in the race. So this whole idea that he is the one who won the election that was taken from him, where does that come from? He didn't even come second. If he's claiming, to be the next in line from a third position, that's absolutely ridiculous. So I think he needs to just rest it. And I think he's made a political capital of really exploiting people's vulnerabilities. He did that with the young people. Peter Obi is, by any stretch of calculation, an integral member of Nigeria's political elites. He's a part and parcel of the political establishment. This guy was governor for 8 years in Anambra State.
Well, that could well be why he knows the political establishment enough to want to reform it.
No, see, if by that criterion you suggest that he knows the political system, a man like Asiwaju, I'm sure, knows 1,000,000 times more than he does, because he comes from a longer distance to this conversation than Peter Obi, does. So if anyone has any claim, it should actually be the likes of Asiwaju and the likes of Atiku Abubakar, not Peter Obi. But the point I'm making is that in 2019, this guy was the vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar. Now, assuming Atiku won that election, in this election of this season, Peter Obi would have been running for re-election and might have been re-elected, to serve. So when did all this, sainthood actually become?
Right. Well,
the point I'm making is that in that interview, he also referred to the point he made. He made statements about how if he was elected president or if he has the opportunity, he will begin to tackle poverty from the north. The same thing he's done with our young people, he's also doing with the north. There's poverty in Anambra State. While acting as governor, he did not eradicate poverty in Anambra State. There is still gaping poverty in that state. That's his own state. Why the north? Does poverty have a tribal identity, have tribal marks? Why is the poverty in the north more important to him than the one perhaps even in his own backyard?
Well, to be fair to him, and I'm not their spokesperson, but he's not here, so we have to kind of reflect accurately what he said. The point he was looking at the percentages of poverty in Nigeria, and the highest percentage is in the north. That's why he used it as an example. No. And the second thing, the point I wanted to make was that he was on the program mostly to try and dispel some of the rumors that were swirling around him and the allegations that were
Why bother to dispel
about
them?
him. He was saying, because he's got followers,
No,
he
why
has,
bother
he
to
has a
dispel them?
responsibility to the people who follow him.
No.
That's why he said that he was not in fact arrested in England, that he was not, I mean, he clarified certain points, because one of Mr. Tinubu's aides, I mean, it's all over social media, and a member of the APC mocked Obi over his alleged arrest, that he was treated like a common criminal, and requested that the UK should come and tell us what, the criminal things he had done. And so, I mean, in other words, and those were things that he felt affected the people who followed. Well, it didn't agitate him. He just felt...
Clearly it did.
In fact, it was very much an interview. And again, I'm not his spokesman or his defender, but he's not here to defend himself. And it was very much an interview that was for the consumption, that's the impression I had, of his supporters. And on a secondary level, perhaps, for his opponents, chiefly those in the APC. I mean, he was clearly trying to persuade his supporters that he was still the rock, as they call him, in spite of all the attempts by the APC to dislodge him. That's the impression that I got.
No, Charles, when you come on national television, you're speaking to everybody. There's no such audience that is selective.
No, I understand that.
Okay? No, I'm coming. There's no such audience where you say, he was speaking to his supporters. If you wanted to speak to his supporters, call a conference, go to a venue, invite your supporters and speak to them. When you come on national television, whatever you say is available to every Nigerian who is listening. You have a wide audience, for your television. So whatever he says here was meant for the consumption of everyone, including myself. And I listened to that interview. What I'm saying is that, why is it that anytime something is said about Peter Obi that is uncomplimentary, there's the need to come out to speak to his supporters to set the record straight?
Well, I would imagine that if things were said about your principle, you'd do the same thing.
Charles, let me finish my thought on this. Yes, I would do the same thing. But when things are said about, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, for example, the same supporters of Peter Obi are the ones who make, a mountain out of nothing. For instance, during your interview, he said that, something about talking about the UK and his exit from the UK. He said it was in 2025. That was a slip. That was a normal thing that can happen to anyone of us. 2025. He said that. But if that was Asiwaju who said that, by now, this will be repeated a million times, even on this television station. All I'm saying is that we all make mistakes. But all I'm also the point I'm trying to make here is that Peter Obi has this penchant of really, appropriating other people's vulnerabilities for his own good. Everything you asked him about the crisis in the Labour Party, his own experiences, the things that people have said about him, some of the reports, that were not that complimentary, he banalized all of them. He minimalized everything. Listen, there's no crisis in the Labour Party. It's just these rascals who are coming into, Peter Obi is Peter the Perfect. Nothing about Peter Obi is ever, questionable. He's completely perfect. He alone understands Nigeria's problem. He alone knows the problem. Meanwhile, as a campaigner, for that position, Peter Obi did not offer one single policy, prescription to deal with all of these problems he says we have. What has he said? Even in manifesto, at a point, he said he didn't have to, even offer a manifesto, because he's Peter Obi. Why would he offer a manifesto? Other candidates who have more experience were willing to lay down their thoughts and their ideas, their vision in documents, so people like you, experts, can review and critique. But he would not do that. Look, all I'm saying is that it's not enough. Look at the example he gave. Peter Obi is an importer of goods and products into this country. He talks about containers coming in, with goods and, leaving the country empty. How many of those containers has he ever filled to export so he can generate revenue that he talks about? He said, look, we need to just stop. This is not something I want to come on TV to, be discussing. But the point is that when a man who competed for election, lost an election, has hired, brilliant lawyers and, given them the mandate to go to court, and they've gone to court, I think that some of these issues should be left the hell alone.
Right.
So that we can move on. Because whether Peter Obi likes it or not, Nigeria is bigger than him. Nigeria is bigger than even the president-elect. It's bigger than even the current president. But collectively as a nation, we must move on. And it's time to move on.
Well, let's move on.
Leave this behind.
Let's move on in this interview because the next crucial phase for you as a party is the inauguration on May the 29th and the plans for this country after that. What are those plans in a nutshell? I mean, one of the big issues in Nigeria that nobody can deny is that the country is very divided at the moment. And the president, after he's sworn in, the president-elect becomes a president for all Nigerians. So what are his plans for unifying this country in a nutshell? I wonder if you might describe some of that for us and some of the other things you think are important to highlight.
You know, the president-elect is already on that question. He's been, from the day he was elected, his acceptance speech, all of the comments he's made, his remarks in, that are in the public domain, he's recognized that. He knows that he's becoming president at a time when this country has become intensely challenged with, coming together. Polarized, if you want to use that. Around, both the national questions and the issues of existential questions. He recognizes that. And I believe that, and from just being around him and listening to him, I'm convinced that he is coming to this with that sense of duty. He said that very clearly. He's going to be president for everybody, including Peter Obi. He's going to be president for you, for me, for all of us. And I think that Nigerians should just, hold their breath and give him that time of day to, get inaugurated and, take the authority of office. Yeah, but I think that in the initial optic, from his appointments, from the speed with which he's going to move, to make those appointments and the quality of people and the diversity of people he's going to bring to the table to work with him to begin the business of governance. I think that he will leave no one in doubt that he's come to this with a sense of commitment and purpose.
Well, we'll have to wait and see the composition of the people who are going to work closely with him. Obviously, there's a constitutional requirement for there to be a spread in any case. Absolutely. But I'm wondering how he's going to successfully govern in a country that is so stricken by deep political, ethnic and religious divisions, and where there are fundamental questions of legitimacy dogging your man, who many believe did not win the election freely and fairly. I mean, that's a fact. And, there have been allegations suggesting that the APC, and obviously we're putting that to you, we're simply saying they're allegations, but they're there. The APC has concluded plans to compel the tribunal judges to uphold the election of Mr. Tinubu as president. And I wonder what your reaction might be to that.
By what means?
I don't know. I mean,
no, Charles, look.
Well, let me tell you the means that they've mentioned. They've said that there are heavy financial inducements being proffered. It's been alleged that there is a plan if a judge decides not to accept the financial inducements to blackmail the judges by digging up dirt on them and threatening to use it to end their careers. I mean, and people have to wonder whether there's any truth to that. Just like Peter Obi came out yesterday to say there's no truth to the fact that, all the allegations made against me. I mean, it's a perfectly legitimate question to ask.
No, I'm not questioning your right to ask the questions or you have a duty to ask, I mean, if it's come to your knowledge. But the point is that it's just utterly ridiculous to suggest that our entire judicial system has been, so compromised to the point that the idea of justice in our country is no longer attainable.
Well, when people believe that the election itself was fiddled and that INEC and the security agencies were compromised in a particular direction, I'm saying when people believe that, they also believe that the judiciary can also be compromised.
Those who believe...
And the history of that judiciary suggests that there have been elements within it that have been compromised.
Charles.
Yeah.
We had an election. The election was substantially free and fair, and an outcome was declared from that election. Listen, there's no election in this country, there's been no election held in the history of democracy that was concluded without controversy. Name one.
Yeah, but that is why it's in the domain of the judiciary, because questions are being raised about that election.
The point I'm making is
that's why people are worried about whether that judiciary has been compromised.
With respect to every election, Charles, there will be controversy. Every election anywhere in the world, there's hardly a country where elections are done and people just, wake up, dust up, and go to bed. You have people who question elections, irrespective. That is to be expected. That is normal. So you don't take what is normal, even in the best, advanced democracies, like the United States. The president of the United States today was elected amidst intense, polarization of that country and intense controversy. And the legitimacy of that election is still in question by those who decide that the election was in fact not free and fair. Right? That's the United States. That's supposed to be the beacon of democracy. So the point I'm making is that when we have an election and somebody says, I don't believe the election was free and fair, what has that got to do with the legitimacy of the process? You can question it. I can question right now that you know what it is too.
Yeah, but it's not just an errant questioning. I mean, people are saying that they have, and we saw pictorial evidence
of what?
Of a lot of areas across Nigeria where the elections were disrupted by people, where things were interrupted.
Elections are required to be free and fair.
Yeah, they're supposed to be
substantially free and fair. If you are expecting a perfect election where there are no complaints, where there are no hitches or gaps or delays or complaints or problems, listen, go somewhere to Mars and conduct your own elections. But if you are on planet Earth and you conduct an election,
my people, now the video now on a new watch finish, so on a see what happen for inside the video. All right, my people, I would like to end the video for you. Make una let me know waiting on a thing for the comment section, and if una never subscribe, make una subscribe so that una not go miss any latest gist way I dey upload. Now bye bye till I come on away next time. Bye guys, catch you in the next video. Bye guys.